Ciao amici. Welcome back to Holistic Naturale. I'm Amara Bellini, your guide to holistic wellness and living a life that feels as good as it looks. Today, we're diving into a topic that's at the heart of everything I do: holistic health. I remember when I first heard the term holistic health a few years ago. I was struggling with chronic fatigue and digestive issues that conventional medicine couldn't seem to solve. I was taking medications for my symptoms, but nothing was addressing the root cause of why I felt so unwell. That's when a friend suggested I look into holistic approaches to health. At first I was skeptical. The term sounded a bit vague and maybe even a little mystical. But as I began to explore, I discovered that holistic health is actually a profound and practical approach to well-being that's backed by both ancient wisdom and modern science. Today, I want to share what I've learned about holistic health, what it means, why it matters, and how you can begin incorporating holistic principles into your own life. Whether you're dealing with specific health challenges or simply want to enhance your overall well-being, understanding holistic health can open up new possibilities for healing and vitality. So let's begin this journey together, exploring what it truly means to care for ourselves as whole, integrated beings. So what exactly is holistic health? At its core, holistic health is an approach to well-being that considers the whole person, not just physical symptoms or isolated body parts. The word holistic comes from the Greek word holos, which means whole or entire. It's about understanding that all aspects of who we are, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social, are interconnected and influence each other. Think about a time when you were stressed about work or a relationship. You might have noticed physical symptoms like tension headaches, digestive issues, or trouble sleeping. Or perhaps you've experienced how a physical illness affected your mood, energy levels, and ability to connect with others. These experiences demonstrate how our different dimensions are deeply intertwined. In conventional medicine, we often see specialists for different body systems: a cardiologist for heart issues, a gastroenterologist for digestive problems, a psychiatrist for mental health concerns. While specialists play a crucial role in healthcare, this compartmentalized approach can sometimes miss the connections between these systems and the underlying factors that contribute to illness. Holistic health takes a different approach. Rather than just treating symptoms, it seeks to identify and address root causes. It recognizes that imbalances in one area of life can manifest as symptoms in another. For example, chronic stress, which is emotional, might manifest as high blood pressure, physical, which could affect your energy for social activities, social, which might impact your sense of purpose and connection, spiritual. I experienced this interconnection firsthand when dealing with my digestive issues. Traditional testing showed nothing wrong, but when I began working with a holistic practitioner, we explored not just my diet, but also my stress levels, sleep patterns, past traumas, and even my satisfaction with work and relationships. It turned out that a combination of chronic stress, poor sleep, and food sensitivities was creating a perfect storm in my body. Addressing all these factors, not just changing my diet, was what finally helped me heal. Holistic health also emphasizes prevention and proactive well-being, not just treating illness once it appears. It empowers you to take an active role in your health journey rather than being a passive recipient of health care. This doesn't mean rejecting conventional medicine, far from it. A truly holistic approach integrates the best of conventional medicine with complementary approaches and lifestyle practices that support overall well-being. Now let's explore the 5 key dimensions of holistic health in more depth. Remember, while we'll discuss these separately, they're all interconnected and influence each other in countless ways. The 5 key principles are physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and social health. Let's start with physical health, which includes how we care for our bodies through nutrition, movement, sleep, and other physical practices. Our bodies are the vessels through which we experience life, so nurturing them is essential for overall well-being. Physical health isn't just about avoiding illness, it's about creating vibrant energy and resilience. It's about listening to your body's signals and responding with compassion rather than pushing through pain or ignoring fatigue. It's about finding forms of movement that bring you joy rather than forcing yourself through workouts you hate. And it's about nourishing your body with foods that make you feel good, not just in the moment of eating, but in the hours and days that follow. I used to have a very rigid approach to physical health, counting calories, forcing myself through intense workouts even when exhausted, and seeing my body as something to control rather than a wise ally to collaborate with. This approach eventually led to burnout and injury. Now, I focus on gentle nutrition, intuitive movement, quality sleep, and regular rest. I've found that this more compassionate approach actually creates better results and is sustainable long-term. Physical health also includes preventive care, like regular checkups, dental care, and addressing minor health concerns before they become major problems. It means understanding your unique body, its strengths, vulnerabilities, and specific needs, rather than following generic health advice that might not be right for you. Moving from our physical bodies to our inner landscape, let's talk about mental health, which encompasses our thoughts, beliefs, attitudes, and cognitive processes. Our minds are powerful tools that can either support our well-being or undermine it, depending on how we use them. Mental health includes how we process information, solve problems, and make decisions. It involves our ability to focus, learn, and adapt to new situations. It also includes our self-talk, that inner dialogue that can either build us up or tear us down. Caring for your mental health might involve practices like mindfulness meditation, which helps you observe your thoughts without being controlled by them. It might include learning about cognitive distortions, those common thinking traps like catastrophizing or black and white thinking, and developing skills to challenge them. It could also involve engaging in activities that stimulate your mind, whether that's reading, learning a new skill, or having thought-provoking conversations. I've found that journaling is one of the most powerful tools for my mental health. Writing down my thoughts helps me gain perspective and notice patterns in my thinking. I also practice mindfulness throughout my day, not just during formal meditation. Simply pausing to notice my thoughts without judgment has transformed how I relate to my mind. Mental health also includes knowing when to seek professional support. Just as we wouldn't hesitate to see a doctor for a physical illness, working with a therapist or counselor can be invaluable for navigating mental health challenges or simply growing in self-awareness and emotional resilience. Closely connected to our mental health is our emotional health, which relates to our ability to understand, express, and manage our feelings in healthy ways. Emotions are neither good nor bad. They're valuable messengers that provide important information about our experiences. Emotional health doesn't mean being happy all the time. It means having the capacity to experience the full range of human emotions: joy, sadness, anger, fear, excitement, grief, and to move through them without becoming stuck. It involves developing emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize emotions in yourself and others, understand their causes and influences, and respond to them appropriately. For many of us, certain emotions feel uncomfortable or even frightening. We might have learned to suppress anger, numb sadness, or chase after happiness at the expense of authentic emotional experience. Developing emotional health often involves unlearning these patterns and creating a new relationship with our feelings. I grew up in a family where strong emotions weren't always welcomed. I learned to keep things light and positive, which meant pushing down feelings like anger and grief. This eventually manifested as anxiety and physical tension. Learning to acknowledge and express all my emotions through therapy, journaling, movement practices, and honest conversations has been deeply healing. Now I see emotions as waves that move through me rather than defining who I am. Emotional health also involves developing healthy coping strategies for life's inevitable challenges. Instead of turning to numbing behaviors like excessive social media, emotional eating, or substance use, we can learn to process emotions in ways that lead to greater resilience and growth. As we move deeper into our exploration, we come to spiritual health, which connects to our sense of purpose, meaning, and connection to something larger than ourselves. Spirituality doesn't necessarily mean religion, though it can include religious practices for those who follow a faith tradition. Spiritual health involves exploring life's big questions. Why am I here? What gives my life meaning? What values do I want to live by? It's about connecting to your inner wisdom and to the world around you in ways that feel meaningful and nourishing. Practices that support spiritual health might include spending time in nature, engaging in prayer or meditation, participating in religious or spiritual communities, creating or appreciating art, or contributing to causes you believe in. Anything that helps you feel connected to something larger than yourself can nurture your spiritual well-being. For me, spiritual health comes through my faith, daily prayer, daily meditation, regular time in nature, and creative expression through writing and cooking. I also find that service to others, whether through my work or volunteer activities, connects me to a sense of purpose that transcends my individual concerns. These practices ground me and provide perspective when life feels challenging. Spiritual health also involves living in alignment with your core values. When our daily choices reflect what matters most to us, we experience a sense of integrity and purpose that enhances all aspects of well-being. Finally, we come to social health, which encompasses our relationships and connections with others, from intimate partnerships to family bonds to friendships and community ties. As humans, we're wired for connection, and the quality of our relationships profoundly impacts our overall health. Social health involves developing the skills to create and maintain healthy relationships, communication, boundary setting, conflict resolution, empathy, and vulnerability. It also includes finding the right balance between connection with others and time for yourself, which varies from person to person. Research consistently shows that strong social connections are one of the most powerful predictors of health and longevity. People with supportive relationships tend to have stronger immune systems, lower rates of anxiety and depression, and even longer lifespans than those who are isolated. I've experienced how transformative healthy relationships can be. After years of people-pleasing and struggling to set boundaries, I've learned to cultivate connections that are based on mutual respect and authentic expression. I've also discovered the importance of community, being part of something larger than my individual relationships. Whether it's my yoga community, neighborhood connections, or online groups with shared interests, these broader networks provide support, perspective, and a sense of belonging. Social health also includes our relationship with the broader world, how we engage with our communities, contribute to society, and connect with the natural environment. These wider connections can provide a sense of purpose and belonging that enhances overall well-being. As you can see, these 5 dimensions, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social, create a comprehensive framework for understanding health. When we attend to all these aspects of ourselves, we create the conditions for true well-being. And because they're all interconnected, positive changes in one area often create ripple effects that benefit the others as well. Now that we understand what holistic health is and its key dimensions, let's explore why this approach is so powerful. What are the benefits of embracing holistic health in your life? I've experienced these benefits firsthand, and research increasingly supports the value of this integrated approach. First and foremost, holistic health helps address root causes, not just symptoms. When we look at health challenges through a holistic lens, we can identify and address underlying imbalances rather than just managing surface-level symptoms. This often leads to more complete and lasting healing. I remember when I was dealing with recurring headaches, I could have just continued taking pain relievers, which would mask the symptom temporarily. But by taking a holistic approach, I discovered that a combination of dehydration, eye strain from computer work, and tension from stress were the real culprits. Addressing these root causes eliminated the headaches completely, without the need for ongoing medication. Another significant benefit is increased energy and vitality. When all dimensions of our health are in balance, we experience more consistent energy throughout the day. Rather than the ups and downs that come from relying on caffeine, sugar, or adrenaline, holistic practices help create sustainable energy that comes from within. Before embracing holistic health, I was constantly cycling between energy crashes and artificial boosts. I'd push myself until exhaustion, then rely on coffee and sugar to keep going. Now, with balanced nutrition, regular movement, adequate rest, stress management, and meaningful connection, my energy feels more stable and natural. I still have natural fluctuations, but I no longer experience the extreme highs and lows that used to characterize my days. Holistic health also enhances resilience, our ability to bounce back from challenges and adapt to change. When we nurture all aspects of ourselves, we develop more resources for coping with life's inevitable difficulties. Physical vitality, mental clarity, emotional regulation, spiritual perspective, and social support all contribute to our capacity to navigate challenges with greater ease. I noticed this increased resilience during a particularly challenging period in my life when several stressors hit at once: a work deadline, a family illness, and a move to a new home. In the past, this combination would have completely overwhelmed me. But because I had built a foundation of holistic health practices, I was able to adapt and respond with more grace and less depletion than I would have previously. Another powerful benefit is improved mood and emotional well-being. Holistic health practices like regular movement, nutrient-dense foods, quality sleep, mindfulness, and meaningful connection all support balanced brain chemistry and emotional regulation. Many people report reduced anxiety and depression, greater emotional stability, and an increased capacity for joy when they adopt a holistic approach. I used to experience frequent mood swings and periods of anxiety that seemed to come out of nowhere. As I began to understand the connections between my physical habits, thought patterns, emotional expression, spiritual practices, and relationships, I gained more agency over my emotional state. Now I can usually trace emotional fluctuations to specific causes, like not getting enough sleep, forgetting to eat, or neglecting my meditation practice, and address them directly. Holistic health also supports enhanced cognitive function. Our brains don't operate in isolation from the rest of our being. Proper nutrition, regular movement, stress management, quality sleep, and meaningful social engagement all contribute to optimal brain health. Many people notice improved focus, clarity, creativity, and memory when they adopt holistic health practices. I used to struggle with brain fog and difficulty concentrating, especially in the afternoons. By addressing my overall health, particularly improving my sleep quality, adding more omega-3 fatty acids to my diet, reducing stress through meditation, and taking regular movement breaks, I've experienced a significant improvement in my cognitive function throughout the day. Perhaps one of the most profound benefits is greater self-awareness and self-connection. The practices associated with holistic health, like mindfulness, body awareness, emotional reflection, and values clarification help us develop a deeper relationship with ourselves. This self-connection becomes a compass that guides our choices and helps us live in alignment with what truly matters to us. Through my holistic health journey, I've developed a much stronger sense of who I am, what I need, and what I value. This self-knowledge helps me make choices that truly support my well-being, rather than following external prescriptions that might not be right for me. It's like having an internal guidance system that helps me navigate life's complexities with greater wisdom. Finally, holistic health fosters a sense of empowerment and agency. Rather than feeling like a passive recipient of healthcare or at the mercy of symptoms, this approach encourages active participation in your well-being. You become a collaborator in your health journey, with valuable insights and choices that influence your outcomes. This sense of empowerment has been transformative for me. Instead of feeling helpless when health challenges arise, I now have a toolkit of practices and perspectives that help me respond effectively. I know that while I can't control everything about my health, my daily choices significantly influence how I feel and function. As we transition to discussing the principles of holistic health, remember that these benefits aren't separate from each other. They're interconnected, just like the dimensions of holistic health. Improvements in one area often create positive ripple effects across all aspects of well-being, creating an upward spiral of health and vitality. Now that we've explored the benefits of holistic health, let's discuss some key principles that underlie this approach to well-being. These principles can guide your health journey and help you make choices that support integrated wellness. The first principle is that you are a whole, integrated being. Your body, mind, emotions, spirit, and relationships constantly influence each other in complex ways. This means that addressing any health concern requires looking at the big picture, not just isolated symptoms or systems. For example, if you're experiencing chronic fatigue, a holistic approach would consider multiple factors. Are you getting enough quality sleep? How's your nutrition? Are you dealing with chronic stress? Do you have unresolved emotional issues? Is your work fulfilling? Do you have supportive relationships? All of these factors could contribute to fatigue, and addressing only one aspect might not resolve the issue. I remember when I was dealing with skin issues a few years ago. I tried countless topical treatments without success. It wasn't until I addressed underlying gut health issues, reduced stress through meditation, and eliminated certain inflammatory foods that my skin finally began to heal. This experience taught me firsthand that our bodies are integrated systems, not collections of separate parts. The second principle is that prevention is powerful. Holistic health emphasizes creating the conditions for well-being rather than just treating problems after they arise. This proactive approach involves making choices that support your health across all dimensions before issues develop. Prevention might include nourishing your body with whole foods, staying hydrated, moving regularly, managing stress, getting adequate sleep, maintaining supportive relationships, and addressing small imbalances before they become major problems. It's about building a strong foundation of health that makes you more resilient to challenges when they arise. I've found that my morning routine is one of my most powerful preventive practices. By starting each day with meditation, gentle movement, and nourishing food, I set a foundation that helps me navigate daily stressors more effectively. When I skip this routine for too long, I notice that I become more reactive and vulnerable to both physical and emotional challenges. The third principle is that you have an innate healing capacity. Given the right conditions, your body and being have remarkable abilities to maintain balance and recover from imbalance. Holistic health approaches aim to support and enhance these natural healing mechanisms rather than override them. This principle acknowledges that symptoms, while often uncomfortable, are usually your body's way of communicating that something needs attention. Rather than just suppressing symptoms, Holistic approaches seek to understand what they're telling us and address underlying causes. For instance, fever is your body's way of fighting infection by creating an environment where many pathogens cannot survive. While extremely high fevers may require intervention, moderate fevers are often part of the healing process. Similarly, emotions like anxiety or sadness are often signaling that something in your life needs attention or change. I've learned to see symptoms as messengers rather than enemies. When I feel anxious, instead of immediately trying to make the feeling go away, I ask myself what it might be telling me. Often, it's signaling that I've taken on too much, that I need more rest, or that there's a situation I need to address directly rather than avoid. The fourth principle is that you are unique. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to health. What works beautifully for one person might not work at all for another. Holistic health honors bio-individuality, the understanding that each person has unique nutritional needs, responses to stress, emotional patterns, and optimal ways of living. This principle encourages self-awareness and experimentation. It invites you to notice how different foods, activities, environments, and relationships affect you specifically, rather than following generic health advice that might not be right for your body or circumstances. I spent years following health protocols that worked wonderfully for others, but left me feeling depleted. For example, I tried intermittent fasting because it seemed to benefit many people, but I discovered that my body needs regular balanced meals to maintain stable energy and mood. Learning to honor my unique needs rather than following trends has been transformative for my health. The fifth principle is that you are your own best health advocate. While healthcare providers and wellness practitioners can offer valuable expertise and support, no one knows your experience better than you do. Holistic health empowers you to listen to your body, trust your intuition, and take an active role in your health decisions. This doesn't mean rejecting expert advice or trying to diagnose and treat serious conditions on your own. Rather, it means bringing your self-knowledge to healthcare encounters, asking questions, seeking second opinions when needed, and making informed choices about your care. I've found that keeping a health journal helps me be a better advocate for myself. By tracking symptoms, energy levels, mood, and how I feel after different foods or activities, I can provide more specific information to healthcare providers and make more informed decisions about my well-being. These principles form the foundation of a holistic approach to health. When we understand that we are whole, integrated beings with unique needs and innate healing capacity, we can make choices that truly support our well-being. And when we take an active role in our health and focus on prevention, we create the conditions for vibrant health rather than just managing symptoms. Now that we've explored what holistic health is, its benefits, and the key principles, you might be wondering, how do I actually get started with this approach? Let me share some practical steps that can help you begin your holistic health journey wherever you are right now. First, start with self-awareness. Before making changes, take time to assess where you are now. How do you feel physically? What's your mental state like? How are you emotionally? Do you feel a sense of purpose and meaning? How are your relationships? Getting clear on your current state helps you identify areas that might need more attention. I find it helpful to do regular check-ins with myself, almost like an internal scan. I'll take a few deep breaths and then notice how my body feels, what thoughts are present, what emotions I'm experiencing, and how connected I feel to myself and others. This practice helps me identify imbalances early before they become more significant issues. You might want to try a simple assessment exercise. Rate your satisfaction in each of the 5 dimensions on a scale of 1 to 10. This can help you identify which areas might benefit from more attention and care. Remember, this isn't about judgment, it's about awareness that can guide your next steps. Second, choose one area to focus on initially. While holistic health considers all dimensions of well-being, trying to change everything at once can be overwhelming. Start with an area where you feel most drawn to make changes, knowing that improvements in one dimension will naturally influence others. For example, if you're feeling physically depleted, you might focus first on improving your sleep quality or adding more nutrient-dense foods to your diet. If you're feeling anxious or mentally scattered, you might begin with a simple meditation practice. If you're feeling isolated, you might prioritize strengthening existing relationships or finding new communities. When I first began my holistic health journey, I was overwhelmed by all the changes I thought I needed to make. My practitioner wisely advised me to start with sleep, since sleep affects every other aspect of health. Once my sleep improved, I had more energy and mental clarity to address other areas. Third, make small, sustainable changes rather than dramatic overhauls. Lasting transformation usually comes through consistent small steps rather than short-term extreme measures. Choose changes that feel manageable and that you can realistically maintain long-term. For instance, rather than completely revamping your diet overnight, you might add an extra serving of vegetables to each meal. Instead of committing to an hour of meditation daily, start with 5 minutes. Small changes that you actually do consistently are far more effective than ambitious plans that you abandon after a week. I used to be a perfectionist about health changes. I thought I needed to do everything right, or it wasn't worth doing at all. This led to cycles of intense effort, followed by burnout. Now I focus on progress, not perfection. I ask myself, what's one small thing I can do today that will support my well-being? This approach has led to much more sustainable change over time. Fourth, seek support and guidance. While holistic health empowers you to take charge of your well-being, that doesn't mean you have to do it alone. Consider working with healthcare providers and practitioners who take a holistic approach. This might include integrative physicians, functional medicine practitioners, naturopaths, health coaches, therapists, or traditional healers, depending on your needs and preferences. Also, don't underestimate the power of community support. Share your health goals with trusted friends or family members. Join groups focused on aspects of holistic living that interest you, or find an accountability partner who's on a similar journey. I've benefited enormously from working with various practitioners over the years. A functional medicine doctor who helped me address gut health issues, a therapist who supported my emotional healing, a yoga teacher who guided my movement practice. Each brought valuable expertise to different aspects of my health. I've also found that sharing my journey with like-minded friends provides motivation and perspective that I couldn't get on my own. Fifth, practice patience and self-compassion. Holistic healing often takes time, especially if you're addressing chronic issues that developed over years. There may be setbacks and challenges along the way. Approaching your health journey with kindness and patience creates space for true healing, while harsh self-criticism often creates additional stress that undermines well-being. Remember that holistic health is not about achieving some perfect state of wellness where you never experience symptoms or challenges. It's about creating resilience, balance, and the capacity to respond to life's inevitable ups and downs with greater ease and wisdom. I've had to learn this lesson repeatedly. When symptoms return, or I fall back into old patterns, my tendency is to get frustrated with myself. But I've found that meeting these moments with compassion, such as, "This is hard, but it's part of the journey," actually helps me recover and get back on track much faster than self-criticism does. Finally, celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Notice and appreciate the positive changes you experience as you incorporate holistic practices into your life. Maybe you have more energy, sleep better, feel more emotionally balanced, or experience a greater sense of purpose. Acknowledging these improvements reinforces your commitment and motivates continued growth. In my own journey, keeping a gratitude journal has helped me recognize positive changes that I might otherwise overlook. Each evening, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, and one way I supported my health that day. This simple practice helps me see progress even when challenges arise. Remember that holistic health is a journey, not a destination. It's about creating a relationship with yourself characterized by awareness, compassion, and responsiveness to your unique needs. Each step you take toward greater balance and integration contributes to your overall well-being, even if the path isn't always linear or perfect. Now, let's get really practical. Holistic health isn't about overhauling your life overnight. It's about weaving small, meaningful habits into your daily routine. Here are some ideas for each pillar, and I'll share how I use them in my own life. Body. Morning movement. I start my day with gentle stretching or a short walk, even if it's just around my apartment. It wakes up my body and sets a positive tone. Mindful eating. I try to eat at least 1 meal a day without distractions. No phone, no TV. I focus on the colors, textures, and flavors of my food. Hydration ritual. I keep a water bottle with me and add lemon or mint for flavor. Every time I refill it, I take a deep breath and check in with my body. Rest and sleep. I set a bedtime alarm to remind myself to wind down. I use lavender oil and calming music to help me relax. Mind dump journaling. Each morning or evening, I write down everything on my mind. Worries, ideas, to-dos. This clears mental clutter and helps me focus. Learning breaks. I dedicate 10 minutes a day to learning something new, reading an article, listening to a podcast, or practicing a language. Digital boundaries. I set no screen times, especially in the morning and before bed. I use that time for reading, reflection, or connecting with loved ones. Emotions. Feelings check-in. I pause a few times a day and ask, how am I feeling right now? If I'm stressed, I take a few deep breaths or write about it. Gratitude practice. Every night, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. This shifts my focus from what's missing to what's abundant. Creative expression. I paint, doodle, or dance when I need to process emotions. You don't have to be an artist, just let yourself play. Spirit. Nature connection. I spend time outside every day, even if it's just a few minutes on my balcony. I notice the sky, the plants, the sounds. Quiet reflection. I set aside 5 minutes for silence, prayer, or meditation. Sometimes I light a candle or listen to calming music. Acts of kindness. I try to do one small act of kindness each day, sending a kind message, helping a neighbor, or volunteering. As a mini challenge, pick one habit from each pillar to try this week. Write them in your journal and check in each day. Notice how even small changes can shift your energy and mood. As a bonus tip, create a holistic health menu, a list of quick actions for each pillar. When you feel off balance, choose one to help you reset. Let's talk about some common myths and real-life challenges. I want you to know you're not alone if you've ever felt stuck or overwhelmed. Myth 1. Holistic health is only for people who are already healthy. The truth is that holistic health is for everyone, at any stage. You don't need to be a yoga master or eat perfectly to start. It's about progress, not perfection. Myth 2. It's expensive and time-consuming. Many holistic habits are free, like walking, journaling, or meditating. You don't need fancy products or retreats. Start with what you have. Myth 3. You have to do everything at once. Trying to change too much at once leads to burnout. Focus on one small habit at a time. Consistency matters more than intensity. Myth 4. If you slip up, you've failed. There's no such thing as failure in holistic health, just learning. Every day is a new chance to care for yourself. Common challenges and how to overcome them. Common challenges that you may encounter include the following. Feeling overwhelmed. There's so much advice out there. My tip is to tune into your own needs. Start with one pillar or habit that feels most important right now. Comparison trap. Social media can make it seem like everyone else is doing better. Remember, you only see the highlights. Your journey is unique. Guilt or shame. If you miss a day or fall back into old habits, be gentle with yourself. Ask, what do I need right now? Instead of, what did I do wrong? Lack of support. Not everyone will understand your choices. Find a community, online or in person, that shares your values, or invite a friend to join you. My advice to you would be to celebrate every small win. If you drank more water today, moved your body, or took a mindful breath, that's progress. Be your own cheerleader. Holistic health is about honoring your whole self, body, mind, emotions, and spirit. It's about balance, connection, and living with intention. When you care for all parts of yourself, you unlock more energy, joy, and resilience than you ever thought possible. Remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Start with one small step. Maybe it's a mindful breakfast, a walk in nature, or a few minutes of journaling. Over time, these small choices add up to big transformations. I've seen holistic health change lives. My friend Julia started with daily walks and gratitude journaling. Now she feels more energized and connected. Ricardo added meditation and regular family dinners. His stress levels dropped and his relationships deepened. Your journey will be unique. The key is to listen to your body, mind, emotions, and spirit, and give each what it needs. Holistic health is about honoring your whole self, body, mind, emotions, and spirit. It's about balance, connection, and living with intention. When you care for all parts of yourself, you unlock more energy, joy, and resilience than you ever thought possible. Remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Start with one small step. Maybe it's a mindful breakfast, a walk in nature, or a few minutes of journaling. Over time, these small choices add up to big transformation. As we come to the end of our exploration of holistic health, I want to emphasize that this approach is not about adding more pressure or shoulds to your life. It's about creating a relationship with yourself that is characterized by awareness, compassion, and responsiveness to your unique needs. Holistic health invites us to see ourselves as whole beings, with each aspect of our lives influencing our overall well-being. It empowers us to make choices that support balance and vitality across all dimensions: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social. The beauty of this approach is that it's both simple and profound. Simple, because it often involves returning to basics: nourishing food, restful sleep, meaningful connection, purposeful living. Profound, because it can transform not just our health, but our entire experience of life. My own journey with holistic health has been full of discoveries, challenges, and unexpected gifts. There have been times when progress seemed slow or elusive, and other times when changes created ripple effects of positive transformation across many areas of my life. Through it all, I've come to trust the wisdom of this integrated approach and the wisdom of my own body and being. I invite you to approach holistic health with curiosity and openness. Notice what resonates with you and what feels right for your unique circumstances. Trust that small, consistent steps in the direction of greater balance and well-being will compound over time, creating significant positive change in your life. In future videos, we'll dive deeper into specific aspects of holistic health, from nutrition and movement to stress management, emotional well-being, and creating meaningful connections. Each of these topics deserves its own exploration, and I'm excited to share more practical tools and insights with you. I'd love to hear about your experiences with holistic health. What aspects of this approach resonate most with you? What questions do you have? Share in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation together. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm so grateful to be part of your journey. Remember, you are worthy of vibrant, holistic health. Ci vediamo presto.